Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Malty Monday. We are going to be featuring the Munich-HELLES. So let's first start this off with saying hello to all of our panel members. Directly beside me, I have Beer Man.
Cheers.
We have Empty Chair Miscellaneous Magnets.
There he is.
Sorry, I had to get my pad. Take notes.
Oh, yes, you need a pad when you go to Helles. We have Michael Hellis Komarov.
Always good to be here.
And Thomas Metals 75.
What's up, people?
I want to say thank you to the chat for being in the room. First to respond and leave a message was Craft Beer Pours. Brandon, thank you so much.
Hi, Brandon.
Paul Middlefrew, he says that CBP doesn't count. Middlefrew got a little confused. So I said I have his beer, but it's because the beer that I have is called Paulus. Cheers to Jeremy V. Miscellaneous, thank you for being here and in the chat as well. Clint Brook, thank you for showing up. Oh, yes, and JV says thanks for joining last night, Miscellaneous. Totally understand that. Been plenty of times before. Hope you're feeling better. Because you had a rough night afterwards, I guess. Everybody saying cheers to Miscellaneous.
Cheers.
All right, guys. Let me go ahead and jump into this very short BJCP style guideline from 2008. All right. The comments, overall impression. Let's go with the overall impression first. It says, malty, this is for the Munich-HELLES, malty but fully attenuated Pils malt showcase. Comments, unlike Pilsner, but like its cousin, the Munich Dunkel, Helles is a malt accentuated beer that is not overly sweet, but rather focuses on malt flavor, underlying hop bitterness in a supporting role. In history, it was created in Munich in 1895 at the Spaten Brewery by Gabriel Sedemar to compete with Pilsner-style beers. All right.
Nice.
So, like I said, very, very short. You'd think that style that's been around for this long would have more of a write-up than that. But anyways, let's go ahead into just showcasing our beers. So show the cans, the bottles, whatever you may have for it. And you can talk about what it looks like real quick, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Hey, all right. Thanks, Bumpy. Cool. So I've got one from a local area. It's called Mount St. Helens. It's kind of a tribute to finding out more information about the geotechnology and or whatever's going on with the volcanoes and all that over here in the Pacific. But anyway, so a little bit it goes to, like, when you buy it, a little bit of it goes, a portion of the money goes to that research. But 5.3% is the ABV. It's by Lewitt Brewing Company. No date, nothing like that. So, oh well. Let's pour this. I couldn't find a tulip glass, so I'm just going to use this. It's really cool, Pete. All right, so real quick, right away, about a finger head. Nice golden color, nice golden, rich gold color. And a fast, kind of a effervescence inside. Very nice looking beer. I'm looking forward to drinking this. Thanks again, Bumpy. Oh yeah, cheers.
Helles
Right,
here.
cheers.
What's up, everybody? So what I've got is the Mars Brow. It's a Helles, I guess a Vol beer. 4.9%. This is a product of Germany. The can date on here, it's really close. So hopefully, I didn't get a lemon. Beer Man said it's a pretty good beer, so let's check it out.
because I do research sometimes while we're chatting. A vol beer, it literally means full or entire beer, and they are usually between 3 and 5.3% alcohol by volume.
All right, there
Contains
it
11
is.
to 14% extract.
Nice.
There you
One
go.
finger head. Yeah, it is definitely a rich golden. It's definitely doesn't look as light as a Pilsner. Yeah, little effervescence there, not too much. Doesn't look too crazy.
Right.
I have
Michael.
the original Helles from Spaten from Munich, Germany. It's 5.2% premium lager, and I've already poured it. This is what it looks like. Let me get the other side of it so you can see it in the glass. It's also golden color and very clear, and you have very small bubbles rising. So there's carbonation. This bottle is good until 4/21, so that's 7-8 months. So I'm sure it's going to be fine. The head is small, white head, but it's got good lacing, and it's coming back as I swish it in the glass. I'm sure it will be enjoyable, and I'll come back around.
Very good. Very good.
Sweet. All right, people. Hello. Thank you for stopping by the Bumpy Road Brewery channel of YouTube. Today we have from the town of Plymouth, Massachusetts, craft brewed and canned in Plymouth. This is the Mayflower Brewing Company Autobahn Lager. 5%. And yeah, there's no date on that can. It's like $2 and change. I did buy it one other time a couple of weeks ago in anticipation for the one day that this beer would come back up. So I bought it again, and I did have it that one time, and I thought it was a pretty nice beer, but we will get to that in a moment. Yeah, that's a big old head in the Pilsner Urquell glass. It might have been more like 2 fingers in a regular tulip glass or Pilsner glass, but now it is 4. And I actually get a little bit, I don't know if anybody else is, it's not completely opaque. There is a little bit of some chill haze to it, I can notice. It is nice lemony yellow / gold color with a nice bright white looking head, and the carbonation is looking all kinds of good. We'll be back, people, with the Autobahn.
As promised, I am bringing Paul Luss. This is from the Schilling Beer Company. They're out of Littleton, New Hampshire. They are a German family. They brew mostly German-style beers for their Schilling Beer Company. They do have a side project where they do American-type ales, which are usually IPAs or stouts. But this Munich-style Helles is 4.8% ABV. They date stamped it. Looks like August 14th, 2020 was when it was canned, so very fresh. Oh, I'll show some can art too. Nice German-looking architecture or something. All right, we got a nice white tight bubble head. The color of the beer itself is that nice straw coloration, light gold, very, very clear. And you can see some carbonation bubbles pouring up through there. All right, so let's go back to Beer Man to talk about how his beer smells and tastes.
I'm off. Okay. I was writing notes. Sorry. So the look is basically a finger head is what it poured at. A deep golden color, white foamy head, effervescent, fast rising bubbles. Very nice clear beer. It's a little dull. It's not hazy, but a little dull, but clear. You can see through it. It's nice. The lacing's really nice. It's got a nice, light, crisp feel to it. A little jumpy on the tongue, a little effervescent, fast and crunchy on the tongue when it's drinking. But it's got a little citrus, a little lemon citrus in there, a little floral, a little herbal spice. Very minimal though, very well rounded and flows well with everything. The like the carbonation really helps with this. It really helps with the drinkability of it. It really is a delicious beer. 5.3%. It's I'm not sure what the range is. What did you say the range was on these? I'm curious as to.
It didn't state it as far as what I saw.
So
Probably did. It did. I just didn't go.
Yeah, no, but it's perfect. I mean, it's not it's not boozy at all. It's very thirst quenching. Somewhat of a lawnmower beer, if you want to call it that. It's got a nice body to it, a medium light body, kind of more on the light side though. A nice dry finish with a medium finish. The aftertaste is kind of citrusy and kind of just dry, and I don't know. It's a very good beer. It really doesn't taste bad. I would totally get these again if I could. Well, I got one, so I'd probably go buy some more of these. But yeah, good beer. I got a score in my head. I think we're good. Cheers.
Right. Cheers. Thank you, beer man.
Thank you.
We'll send this right on over to Miscellaneous Magnets.
All right. So on the nose, there was a slight sweet malt presence. There is some earthy notes coming out of here. It's almost like grassy. I'm not quite too sure. I don't know if my palate's up to par tonight either. But I am smelling there's some light white bready notes. Yeah, not too much to talk about. I mean, taste, it's light, it's clean. Like I said, it's got that earthy note to it, almost like a grassy, maybe wet hay. It's not horse blankety, but light to medium body on the palate. It's definitely a good sipper, man. For sure. Like I said, lawnmower beer, possibly, maybe not. But yeah, 4.9. I don't see why anybody would have a problem drinking these. It's got some little bit of legs there sticking on the glass. So, cheers.
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 Right. I think next up is Michael Helles.
Getting a slight reverb.
If anything's happened, the head has diminished a little bit more down to kind of more of a slim kind of head, but it's still holding up and you're still getting the nice lacing. And the nose, you're getting maltiness first and then maybe a little bit of subtle spice as well. That's about it. Let me give it a taste. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, Michael.
Okay, there's a slight sweetness as it hits your mouth, and you're getting the malt, which is kind of like the lead taste in it. You're getting some cereal grain, and you're able to detect that the malt is like of a Pilsner type, but I'm not sure which exact malt they're using. The hops are there, but they're really faint. I mean, all beer has hops, but it's not something which is prevalent. It's almost like it's a background note. It's well carbonated. I guess you could say this is a lawnmower kind of beer too at 5.2. Goes down pretty easy. It's tasty though. I would think this would be a good beer to have certain kind of meals with too. It would blend well with certain kinds of food, maybe some cheese. Mm-hmm. But I'm enjoying it. And I'll have a number for you shortly.
Okay.
All right. And new coming in for this Helles
is Michael.
Is William
William
Kepley.
Kepley.
So we're going to go ahead and let William go through the whole showing what he brought, pouring it, and going through the aromas and tastes. Hello, William. And welcome.
Hello.
Thank you for joining.
Happy Labor Day.
Happy Labor Day.
Yeah.
Okay. The beer I have tonight is a Spaten
Bro.
premium lager.
We literally just talked about that beer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we did Michael.
So, okay. Well, in case you did, I'll give the rap sheet on it.
Sweet.
5.2% ABV, 21 IBUs, estimated 156 calories, originated in 1894, and Spaten began importing in the United States in 1909. This beer uses Hallertau hops, also probably a little Tettnang, pale Pilsner malt, and like I say, it's this is the OG, the original gangster, the first Helles style lager. So I'll give it a pour. A mini mug. I use these little taster mugs now because it's easier for me to handle with my hands in the condition they're in. This is here. Not too bad.
Oh,
Whoa.
whoa.
A nice golden hue. A lot of streaming bubbles. A little two-finger mini head. We'll call it middle finger and a half here. M and a half. And on the aroma, the sweet pale malt is out front. Getting a little bit of a honey note with this also, which is very pleasing. A little undercurrent of a grassy hop, not a bittering hop, more of an earthy grassy type, but very, very pleasant. It wants, it encourages you to want to take that first sip because I like lagers, and so this one's right in my wheelhouse. Like I say, the honey note on it really makes it very appealing. So I'll say, raise a little hell on a Monday night Labor Day. Cheers.
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 Yep.
Cheers.
All right.
The nose transfers to the palate very well on this, the taste buds. Get that, the sweet, pale maltiness up front is prominent. A little undercurrent of the grassy hops, not a bittering hop, which you get more like with a Pilsner. That's one of the main style differences between this and a Pilsner is this is a little more robust in flavor, a little more robust in body, where a Pilsner has more of a hop factor in it. But for someone like a gateway for an adjunct lager drinker, this is really the perfect style to transition to. You won't be off put by the bitterness is mild, but you'll notice immediately the additional flavor over what you would get from an adjunct lager. This being an all pale recipe adhering to the 1516 German purity laws, and I think this is very good. Like I said, this is right up my wheelhouse, and I like lagers, and this is very tasty. I'll take another sip on it. Maybe a slight lemony note buried underneath in the mix, but primarily this is a malt forward beer, very refreshing, sessionable, and like I said, I really like lagers, and I'm really enjoying this one. And I'll turn it back over to the moderator, and I'll have a score in a few minutes, and maybe a little bit of a sports headliner for the poll, maybe.
Nice.
Sweet.
I'm just jotting something down real quick. I'll be. Okay, so yes, with the Paulus Munich-HELLES, the aromas on this one, you get the kind of crackery white bread notes coming up. It does have a little bit of a hop presence with like a floral note. There is also a little bit of like a lemon zest that comes through as well in the aromas. It's not really my first swig, but whatever. First swig, cheers.
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 So it's got like a medium body feel to it. Good high carbonation level. It does have a slight drying effect on the palate. Once again, through the flavors, it's that crackery white bread malt presence, which is forefront foremost. Does carry on throughout, but there is that hoppiness that does appear kind of mid sip as well, and continue on with the aforementioned malt notes of it's floral, it's zesty, grassy. It's got kind of a grassy bitterness to it. Not super bitter, but it's definitely there to balance out the beer. Yeah, easy to drink, 4.8%, and yeah, it's just an enjoyable drink.
Nice.
Without having your palate like overtaken by so much stuff, you just can't figure out what the hell the beer tastes like. It's pretty much right in your face. It's right there, pretty easy.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and bring us all back.
Or Thomas Metal 74. I got a beer.
Jesse, Eric hasn't gone yet.
Yeah, I
Are you
was gonna
serious?
say if I'm in that bad of shape,
Oh, I
I need
did
to
that.
reevaluate my life.
I gotta bring.
Whatever.
Sorry
We all
about that.
get we all get taken care of at the end of the day. Not a worry. Yeah, I don't think that we all. I'm not saying that negatively. I don't think that we all have a bunch of really big, complex notes here and extensive notes on this style beer, but that's all right. This again is the Autobahn. That is their lager from the Foolproof from Mayflower Brewing Company in Plymouth, Massachusetts. 5% alcohol, and they're using the Hallertau and Tettnang hops and Pilsner, Vienna, and Munich malts. 5% alcohol by volume. They talk about this beer pouring a crystal golden straw color. However, I'm going to have to disagree that it's like crystal clear, right? That's not crystal clear at all. And that's what it looks like on their website when they have a photo of it. So, again, slightly hazy, I say, lemony gold colored, 4-finger head. And it, as you saw earlier, it died down to this 1 finger's worth, and it's moderately carbonated. Yeah, I'm still agreeing with my notes. I say lemon, grass, earthy kind of notes to it with a peppery sort of a spice zing from the hops. And there is a floral biscuity Pilsner malt aroma and some graininess in the background. But the graininess actually in this beer style is taking a back seat to all the malts and the pepper spice. So that's pretty good. And let's take that drink now and see how pretty good it is. Cheers.
Cheers, Eric.
Cheers.
Someone's computer's working hard over there. Taste, grassy, lemon notes hit you first, mixed with the peppery note, the peppery kind of like a peppercorn kind of a spice, and a slight, and I mean really slight, but it's totally detectable, really slight, a bitter zing to it for balancing all the sweet bready malt flavors and the biscuity flavors. Now we go to that. Floral and biscuity notes are there with a tad bit grainy complexion. I would say that this is a light-bodied beer for the mouthfeel going towards a medium. It's super crisp, fairly dry, and it is ultra refreshing. And I'm also getting a slight amount of a chalkiness in that finish when it dries. I don't know if that has to do with some of the malts that they're using in said beer, but that so far is the only thing I'm not a huge fan of. It's super dry. I mean, it's fairly dry. However, you get that little residual chalkiness in the mouthfeel at the end of that sip. So only thing I can give it fault for right at the immediate moment in time. Otherwise, this is a pretty nice sipping, easy-going beer that can go with anything you need it to. So cheers.
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 Yeah. Tiny lazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. I'm
Now,
sorry for
Bumpy.
passing over you there. I
We good. We got it done.
was a little absent-minded. So yeah, if we just want to go through, give your scores and then shout out anything that's going on. We'll start with the Beer Man.
All right. So some afterthoughts of it all. I forgot to mention it was kind of a sourdough yeasty cracker cereal kind of thing, and you guys all put thoughts in my head, so I'm just writing things down as I'm tasting this. Something. It's a slight sweetness, lemongrassy, dry, slight bitter in the finish, smooth, clean, pleasant drinking, refreshing. It's just a very well-rounded beer. At least this one that I'm drinking is, and the Helles style in its own is a very well-rounded, refreshing beer style. So very nice. I scored this at a 94 out of 100. I thought it was pretty good. Mid-range A, almost pushing A plus. So not bad at all. I would totally buy this again. Drinkability was amazing. It really felt good, and as I'm drinking it, just want to keep drinking it. So cool. So to shout me out, let's see. First of all, Bumpy, thank you for letting me be on here. It's always fun being here, man. So
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate the folks that can be here.
Yeah. So Tuesday, tomorrow is same time as this today, 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock Eastern, will be Beer and Cheese Tuesday. And then Wednesday will be, I'm doing an Imperial West Coast IPA. So I'll be doing that for a recipe and a review on that, a couple beers there. And then of course we'll be going to other places like What the ABV with Beer Chugs and what's Ronald Theriot's
Wildcard Wednesday.
Wildcard Wednesday? Does he have a general?
It's just wild card.
Just
It's not
wild
the
card.
first of the month, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And then Fruit Friday, what's he doing? What's Fruit Friday? What's Alex Beermaster?
Sliders.
Sliders, that's right. And I got them. Okay, cool. I forgot. Yeah, so I got those. I'll be there. But cheers. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Beer Man.
Cheers, Beer Man.
Oh, all right. My thoughts on the beer. Sorry, I'm out of it today, y'all. Yeah. So it was bad. I think 94 does it justice.
Ooh, yeah.
I definitely want to revisit this and try it again because I do think my palate's off a little bit today. So yeah, 90, 94. I would definitely get it again for sure. And then there's something here behind this label. There's actually shit on the can, so I'm trying to pick that up, see what it says.
Are they reusing cans or
It's a
old
sticker.
cans that they didn't mean to make? I guess.
Oh, it's on here it tells all the business. All right, we'll get to that.
Oh, so is it like a one of those medicine
It's a-
bottles where you have to peel it back to read how to
I
actually take
don't
it?
know. It's a sticker that they put over the whatever's on the original can.
All right.
I will get it.
Well, I'll
Stay
be
tuned.
right back. I just have to go hit the head real quick. So, William Kefley, if you want to go, you can go. If you want to wait for me to get back, it will only be a few seconds.
Okay.
I'm drunk in one.
Make a few notes about mine. Green bottle. Green bottle. I didn't detect any skunkiness. Relatively fresh for a European import. This one is good till April of 2021. So that wasn't an issue. And one thing about the Helles style was they were a reaction to the dark Munich beers that were brewed back in the late 1800s. It was very revolutionary for these light pale lagers to come out. They were actually a threat. They were, and a lot of criticism toward these, that they were downgrading the quality of Munich beers at that time. But a few of the brewers broke ranks and started brewing these lighter style beers, the Pilsners, the Helleses, the Kolsch's, these style of beers, and caught on. But at that time, the palates were changing among the drinkers. So, what old history repeats itself again. And so they were only reacting to what the beer drinking public wanted at that time. But it was really quite a reaction and quite a response when these beers would start being brewed. Like I said, this was 1894 for the spot, and started importing in 1909. But so a little bit of history there is that these were very revolutionary in the German beer culture and the German beer history. The fact that they, had those brewers might not broken off like they did. This style may have never been developed. And also the brewmaster for the Spaten at that time, they developed the dark Munich malt, which is the foundation for the Oktoberfest, the Marzen. So you can thank him for all your Marzen beers you've been drinking.
Thank you.
It all goes back to the Spaten brewery. So, a little tidbit there. And put on my sports writer cap for just a moment here. The Helles, I call it the comeback kid. In the prior 2 weeks, this beer only scored 3 votes total, 2 and a 1. And it looked like it was headed straight for Helles. But somehow they put on the brakes and did a U-turn, and last week it stormed back to win the poll. It barely defeated the Imperial IPA 13-12. The Brown Ales had a respectable 9, and the other beer, let's see, what was the one, only had 1 vote. What was the fourth?
Belgian IPA.
Came in, went to hell last week with 1 vote. But this shows you here that what perseverance can do. This is like the 1969 New York Mets. It went from 9th place to a world championship. I bring that up because of the recent death of Tom Seaver, and we also had the passing of Lou Brock, 2 Hall of Famers. So condolences to their families. They always represented sport very well. No scandals. A couple of really nice guys, I think. And and I would have to say, after leading the Blonde Ales, I had a couple of off weeks with Helles as manager. But this week, I never quit on these guys. They never lost the fighting spirit. So it was nice to see them rewarded for a comeback victory this week, and sort of curious to see what the poll will next week. Sort of interested to see how these polls develop. And like last week was 1 vote difference. But anyway, the comeback kid prevails, and they went from hell to heaven in 1 week. So cheers to the Helles.
Cheers to the Helles.
And on this one, I read the sheet about styles and everything. To me, this is very representative of the Helles style. It checks off all the boxes. The light crackery, white bready malt. This one has a little bit of a concurrent grassy hops. At the end, it does have a tad of a little bittering, spicy hop, but just at the aftertaste. And on the aftertaste, too, you pick up that pale malt. Well, the honey note, a little bit of grape nuts cereal. And but for the style, this checks off everything I think this should be style-wise. So I would give this one a 95.
Woo!
Both in style and just personal enjoyment. To me, it's also A, border on A+. I like lagers. I like the light sessionable lagers. And this one is right in the wheelhouse. So I really can't find any fault with this. And if you're an adjunct lager drinker, pick up a 6-pack of these at Total Wine or wherever you can get it at. I think you would really thoroughly enjoy this. And for that sweet bready malt, a little bit of honey note, a little bit of undercurrent of lemon zestiness, a couple of the panelists mentioned about their beers. But to me, this is a winner. And so back to you, Bumpy. Appreciate you having me on today.
Yeah. Sure. Thanks for being here, William.
Yeah.
Michael, skips on over to you.
I'm with William on the 95. I'm also giving it a
Wow.
95. It's definitely a strong A. And I'm getting, like William got earlier, kind of a honey finish on this. There's kind of a sweetness in the finish as well. And I guess the other point I could make, it's not an 11.2 ounce bottle. It's a 12% bottle
12%.
because it's an InBev
It
product.
is an InBev.
So they're giving,
You're right.
they're giving you the extra 0.8, which is nice if you're a beer drinker, because why should you lose that 0.8? It's nice to have that extra beer to drink. And I guess the people who do the marketing are smart enough to know that they can market this in Europe and still give you the extra beer, which I think is very positive.
That's a good point. That 11.2 leaves you scratching your head. Well, why don't you just make it 12? I mean, it's sort of an irritant. It's a small matter, but sometimes little things do make a difference. And as Michael mentioned, the Spaten and Lowenbrau merged.
Excuse me.
And they were eventually purchased by Interbrew, a Belgian company, which merged with Ambev, Brazilian, to produce, and then they purchased AB InBev. So that's the beer trail. So it is an AB InBev product after all of the acquisitions and mergers and blah, blah, blah. But that's the nature of the beer world.
Kind of like a small fish gets eaten by a larger fish, which a larger fish eats the larger fish, and it just, well, you have Russian dolls.
The food chain.
Yeah.
Survival of the fittest.
Survival.
Nature's way of saying nope.
Again.
Nope. Is it my turn now? I guess. Autobahn. I guess it's sort of a cool name. I don't know. The dog there should not be anybody drinking and driving right there on the label. But
Autobahn.
He's not really drinking, so whatever. Don't get any ideas. It's the Autobahn from
Autobahn.
Germany. No speed limits. All right, but I do have a limit as far as the score I'm going to give it, and that is going to be an 88 out of 100. So this is now that I know of the second time ever me having this beer, and I feel pretty much the same way since the last time I tried the beer, and I'm feeling pretty similar to our Spaten beer drinkers very much about the beer. I think it is a really good representation of the beer style. I think it's pretty, like I said earlier, it is a fairly dry tasting beer, the Autobahn lager. However, I think that just that little grittiness or that little chalky sort of aftertaste that kind of leaves you there, and it's sort of a little bit on the biscuity side, if that makes any sense. I think I wish that could be even more rounded out. I think the finish could be a little bit more rounded out for me to give it the over 90 rating. But as it stands, I would buy this beer again if I was in a bind or something and I'm looking for this style. Yeah, pretty good.
Or if you were on the bond.
Yeah, no drink and drive. This would be good with fried food, seafood. Get some chicken or shrimp Alfredo. That would be good. Mm-hmm. Pizza. Jeez. Pizza would be really good with that floral, biscuity flavor.
Yeah. And Vermont mild sharp cheddar.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
Yeah, whoa. Oh, yeah.
It has to be
Agreed.
Vermont. I know. I saw it. I saw it in a cheese and beer pairing chart.
Vermont.
It was very specific.
Specific.
Bumpy, on this one, the Spaten in German means spade, which is a digging tool.
Yeah, spot means spade. Yes, it does.
And you'll notice on the label here,
There it is.
that is actually a malt shovel they use to get the malt out at the brewery.
Yeah.
That little shovel there.
Well, what do you know?
So a lot of great history behind these beers. That's one thing I enjoy about doing these hangouts is you're drinking a little bit of history every time you drink some of these beers.
Oh yeah. Yeah, even the new styles, they have a history because their history might be very recent, but still.
They're setting history. They're making history as they're, it's a work in progress, but it's very interesting.
Yeah. And they kind of, lots of different styles piggyback off of other styles, like in the BJCP thing there, where it said basically they came out with this style because they wanted to go against the Pilsners of the world.
A lighter version, and both of those were a reaction to the dark beers brewed at that time. I mentioned while you were gone away, that very revolutionary. That the brewing establishment was really down on these beers.
Kolsch was too. Yeah.
Well, I guess that brings it to me, which I'm going to match you Spaten boys and go with the 95. I think that the Schilling Beer Company, they do a really good job with pretty much any of their beers that they make. They brew very, very close to style. And this is probably one of the better Helleses that I've ever had from an American brewing company. So 95, it's an excellent for me. So I would buy this one over other Helleses that I've had. Obviously if there was one from Germany, probably gravitate towards that a little bit more. But I would say the Helles, out of the lagers, I do prefer like a Czech style Pilsner over Helles. It's just my own personal preference, but still for the style, it was good. But I think it's because I like a little bit more of that extra hoppiness.
I would
right.
No,
I like the Czech style.
Yeah,
those are kind of
as much as I like this.
Helles better.
The Pilsner Urquell came to mind immediately for me. Yeah. I like it for additional little bit of the bitterness plus the maltiness of it takes on a little bit more like a caramel note, right? A little more depth, complexity. So that would probably be the step up from this. But for what it is, I think this is excellent.
Nice.
All right, just looking at some of the stuff here. So I'll just say the Malty Mondays. I mean, it's on Mondays. Obviously, you guys are here. You're watching it. Starts at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Everybody's welcome on panel as long as you bring the beer style that we are doing for that Malty Monday episode. It's a rotating panel. You don't, it doesn't always have to be the same. It's just whoever brings a beer and wants to join up on panel is allowed, as long as you act like a normal, civilized human being. But yeah, if you want to drink along anyways, and you don't want to be up on panel, please, try to find these beers that we put out in the poll when they win and stuff, and just follow along in the chat. Drink the beer style that we're doing, and see if there's any flavors that you're picking out. You can leave it in the chat, or just drink along. And maybe you're new to trying to taste beers and pick out the flavors and aromas and all that. And I think this is one way that you can definitely join along with that and learn a little bit. Because as you hear people talk about a certain style and stuff, there's sometimes notes out there you just don't get right away, and your brain just like, what is that? What is it? What is it? Yep. And then somebody mentions something, you're like, actually, yes, that's right. What it is. It's not always just like oh yeah, somebody mentioned it, so yeah, that's what's in my mind, and that's what I'm tasting now. It's sometimes you just need that little extra nudge, like I don't quite know what it is, but then once you know, it's like, oh yeah. So I think that's always cool.
That's kind of how it was with me. This is the first time I've tried a Helles, and from what I got, pretty much everybody else did too. So
Bumpy,
I
and
did manage to get that sticker off.
There's a
Nice.
lot of
Do you want me to? I'll bring you up so you can go ahead and do
I
that.
don't.
We will create the poll right after this. Let me bring you up.
It's mostly in German, but the ingredients list is much larger. Like I said, I wish if I could read German. It says it's got BYG malt in it, corn malt with a K for some reason. Yeah, not too
Special. That's special K.
yeah.
for the band corn.
I don't. That's just what it says on the can.
Corn.
I can't get it to zoom in. It's a crappy color of the can. Anyways, that was it. I was talking with Dio and everybody earlier, and I'm like, I'm gonna see what's underneath this. So they pretty much just dumbed it down and put an Americanized sticker on the back, so we could read it. That's pretty much what they did.
Yeah.
They dumbed it down a bunch.
Does anybody have any last things they want to say? Any more history that you found? Anything else you want to talk about before we go and try to make the next poll? I will say that the poll will be left in all our various Hangout groups, and I will also leave it in the link of the description of this video. So if you're not part of the Hangout groups that I'm associated with, just go back to this video. You don't have to watch it. You just click the little pencil thing for editing or whatever, and it will bring you right to the description. And
Bumpy,
click on the poll.
Bumpy, I'll make a final note here about for people who want to really sharpen their palate is if you have a local craft brewery, try to take a tour. I took a tour of Foothills actually twice, and they let me taste the malts.
Yeah.
Sniff the hops. And I went home and drank beer.
Don't eat the hop.
I do not. I did not. They told me only sniff.
Yikes.
But when I came home, it just sharpened the palate. I could make that connection much closer to what I was actually drinking from the ingredients. So,
yeah.
If you can, and like a small craft brewery, you're a lot more likely to get a hands-on presentation, or actually able to get in there and like raise the hood and check under the sneak around a little bit. And that really helped me a lot to develop, sharpen the palate. So I encourage people to do that. I think it would only increase your enjoyment of beers.
Sam Adams actually they have a really good tour at Sam Adams. For as large as they are, constantly having things change so they can still be considered craft. But they have a really good tour. So yeah. Well, I appreciate everybody for being here. I appreciate my my chat, the viewers, the watchers, even if you're not chatting, you're just watching. That's great. I appreciate the folks that don't catch us live and come back and enjoy watching it, whether mowing their lawn, doing dishes, or avoiding doing chores altogether. Sometimes that's what I do. But appreciate my panel. The guys that obviously show up here every single Monday to do this. That's awesome because, the show, it's not going to happen without all of you, the chat, the viewers, panel members. It would not be Malty Monday. So I don't make the show. You guys make the show. You guys are all awesome. You all rock. And hope to catch you here next Malty Monday. Hopefully it is a great beer again. Not a shandy, but eventually we'll probably get to that shandy drunken one. So
Shandy.
Well, let's go ahead and create this poll and get it out there so the folks that want to vote can vote.
Excellent.
All right.
Cheers.